is going well. Mine started really early. I had friends that were in town and they left early, so I was up early. You look like you got more sleep than I did.
Well, actually, I did not. I slept around 1 a.m. because I was editing one of the videos and I was delivering a class online to one of my students. How's your day so far?
Good. You're a working machine. You probably normally get only 3 or 4 hours of sleep or something.
Well, it pays off when I feel and I see that some people are learning from the videos that I post online and the kids' stories that I get posted. Yesterday, I had a meeting with a family that told me that one of their kids is following my kids' stories, and it was really inspiring actually to see that some people are.
Isn't that good?
Yeah, like you're sleeping and some people are watching your videos while you're sleeping. So it's kind of like nice feeling.
Good. I think we've been wired in such a way that when we do something that benefits somebody else, it just brings us satisfaction and joy. Yeah, that's a cool thing.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for accepting this invitation to be hosted.
My privilege, yeah. My honor.
Online meeting. I would like to ask you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the center and how it is contributing to boost people's English skills in the country, in Iraq, and how, if you have any kind of success stories of people who have taken courses at your center and they keep telling you how good training was at your center and how your center is distinct, unique, and different in terms of teaching. I know I have asked you many questions, but you can freely
but you
start with any one of them.
You said we had a couple of hours to talk, right?
For sure.
I'm kidding. So I'm Rob Heath, and I actually am country director for an NGO, the oldest NGO in Iraq, actually, MRDS, which is Millennium Relief and Development Services. And under that NGO, we do a number of projects, and one of the most long-running projects that we've done is the English School, which is GEI, Global English Institute. And I think I can talk about it like I'm not a mother, obviously, but like a mother might talk about their child as they watch it grow, because that's really what I've done. In fact, I've probably been less involved in some of the intricacies of the success stories that we've had. My work as director of the NGO and then sort of general manager of the English school that operates under that has been to try and find the right people and give them the right tools and the right equipment and the right kinds of communication and advertising so that we can connect those good teachers with students who want to learn. And when that happens, it's just like the experience that you described earlier. When I see those good teachers doing their homework, getting work done, and they're teaching students who come out of classes, and my office is positioned where when I'm in town, I see them coming out. And when they come out happy and talking in English, not in Arabic, it gives me great joy to know that we've done that. So the English Institute is among the things that I get to sort of shepherd while I'm in country and when I'm out under that sort of umbrella of the NGO MRDS. You know, when it comes to success stories, there are a lot of them, and I think that's because we have people come here for many different reasons. To learn English, for sure, but many of them have just so many different reasons that they come. We have some people who come because they've made friends with someone who speaks English, and they want to be a good friend. And so they think, if I can work on learning their language, I can communicate better with them, and my friendship that is valuable enough to them to learn English can deepen that friendship. And that's really fun to watch folks who are, you know, maybe they've made an online friendship or relationship, or maybe someone who's come here from the West, and they're just working on the language because they really want to build a good friendship. That's a really cool thing. I think the world would be a greater place if more of us operated like that, right? Yeah, and then, and then we have people who are in business, small business, large business, and they want to get better at business. And maybe they've discovered that there are some outlets for the product that they sell or the service that they do, interacting with Western businesses. And so they come to learn English so that they can do better at what they do in being better business people, and maybe expanding their business, and hopefully, if they have employees, benefiting and blessing their employees by doing a better job at that. And that's really cool to watch, is to see someone who maybe was running a small business, or maybe they were just starting a business, and learning language would help them to do business with additional people.
Okay,
We've had a number of people. Yeah,
I
sure.
would
Go
like
ahead.
to
Yeah,
ask you
please.
to elaborate on and digress a little bit on that part.
Sure,
How
please.
do you,
Yeah.
how do you observe learning English as a priority for lots of businessmen, of course, here in Iraq? How do you think it's contributing to the success of people, especially in the business model?
Well, we could debate what is the best language and culture for business, and I won't do that with you, but I will tell you that English is a great language for business because there's so much of it, and so I think it contributes to strengthening and deepening of the culture and of society, when business people can do better at what they do with their business. And when they can do more of whatever it is that they are trying to do, when they can do it and do more of it, it provides for their family. It may provide for people that are employed by them. And anything that makes people stronger, families more healthy, and more able to provide for themselves and the community through those employees, anything that does that, I think benefits the country as a whole. And so I think it gives it strength. I think it gives it stability. It certainly opens the door to some international relationships that can always be better.
I had a question that I forgot to ask you when
please
we
do.
had our first meeting. What was your first encounter like when you saw the first group of Iraqi learners getting English training at your center? And what was your expectation versus reality for this particular group of people or learners?
Yeah. Let me tell you a story while I'm thinking about a good answer for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Much of my early days in Iraq was in the north.
Okay.
And this has been more than a dozen years ago. And back in that day, the IZ was much more closed down. I had all of these badges that got me in and out of all these really cool places, north and south.
Okay.
And I was traveling with my son in the north. And my son is a great linguist. He is competent in a couple of Kurdish dialects as well as Arabic. Is just really is a much better student of language than his father is. Yeah, for sure. So we were in the north somewhere traveling, and we came upon a checkpoint, and the checkpoints do what checkpoints do back in that day. And they had some question about what we were doing and where we were going and that kind of thing. And so I began to get out all of my badges and show them my badges and try to explain to them, what I was doing. And my son, who's a good son, just kind of let his dad sort of, do his thing. And I was getting nowhere. And so after about 15 or 20 minutes with this, when our case had been bumped up to the highest person at that checkpoint, my son began to speak to the head of whatever the checkpoint was. I don't know which officer was in charge, but my son began to speak to him in his heart language. And everything changed. And as I watched that, I thought, oh my goodness, he's communicating with them. He's able to tell them things that my badges couldn't tell them. But the most amazing thing was they were just swept up in the fact that this young man had taken the time to learn their language. I was on a tight schedule. I was needing to get through. And though my son, Michael, sort of solved the problems, once they heard him speak in their heart language, I couldn't get away because they wanted to communicate back and forth. But the lesson I came away with is, in a reverse way, that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to facilitate Iraqis learning language so that they can have those connections and those aha moments and those good experiences with people that they want to, either for friendship or business or education. We didn't even talk about that. But and so that was a great aha moment for me about the importance of those other language learnings. I teach occasionally when I'm here, not a whole lot, because it is really hard work and our teachers work hard at it. And I love the fun more than the hard work. But often when I'm in town, our teachers will let me come in and they will have prepared the class on a subject. And when I'm able to speak and when I get excited, I will sometimes talk fast. And so when I'm in a class setting and I'm seeing that the tempo of my conversation is picking up, and yet these students who maybe been with us in a third or fourth or a fifth level class are getting it and understanding it, I know that they've really been learning, and there's the language that they've learned. So I think some of my early experiences in going into the classroom and seeing the lighting to use the lessons that they learned, that was really just a great, making available all of the resources that I can for my teachers. Yeah.
Okay.
It may not be spectacular just at this moment. Now
Great.
I've got you back good, I think.
Okay, great. Sorry, there's a little bit of delay in the internet, but I do have one more question, and that is, what's your observation of the biggest challenge?
I got you back, Wally. So sorry about that. It is Iraq, though, huh?
No worries.
Yeah,
I think it's the issue with the
some
internet.
Days we have great internet and some days not.
Yeah, and usually Fridays
well,
witnesses high traffic of internet, and so you expect some interruptions here and there.
Thank you for your patience. Yeah.
Based on your observation, what is the biggest, the most important, or the biggest challenge for Iraqi learners when it comes to English? What was and what is and what has been their biggest challenge when it comes to language skills and learning English? And what is the major focus of your center on which skill particularly?
Yeah. You know, I think one of the challenges is as a teacher, and I listen to the teachers talk about this, as a teacher, listening to a student tell you what they want, and then knowing as a teacher what they need, and somehow letting those things fit together. Most students want to speak, want to communicate, but the teacher knows that there are some rudiments, there are some basics that they really need if they're going to speak and speak in a way that they're well received. So I think balancing that the things that the students need as they're coming along versus what the students want. The students that really want to communicate and want to talk a lot, we try to have some conversation classes going almost all the time, because that really fuels that need that they have to be able to use what they're learning and putting into place some of those basics and foundational elements. But so that's one of the challenges, especially as a teacher, balancing what the student wants with what you know that they need. I think the other thing that is really a challenge is helping the students figure out what is going to be the forum or the form of their being able to rehearse and practice, because that really is how we get better. I don't know what the phrase is, practice makes perfect in language. It absolutely is true. And I love hearing stories of our students about how they practice. Many of our students go home and they're the only one who's thinking about and learning language. I think that's true for you, right? In terms of your family. But I've listened to students say, well, I go home and for 30 or 45 minutes, I stand in front of a mirror and I talk to myself. And I think that's a great way to practice. If you don't have anybody to practice with, practice with yourself. I love the stories of students who have found a fascination with a certain genre of music, of movies, maybe Westerns or musicals or something like that. And they just constantly listen to the movies. And the ones that are using that to strengthen their English are the ones that are talking back to the screen and they're memorizing the lines and saying the lines. You can tell someone who has loved Westerns because they usually have a Southwestern U.S. accent that comes out in those things. So, but that's the other thing, is helping the students find ways and settings and places that work for them to be able to practice if they maybe don't have others in their family or in their community that they can just kind of practice with. So.
Definitely.
We also try to make some time before and after classes where teachers are available to just talk. And we always have a break time.
Is that part
before COVID?
Is that part of the extracurricular activities that you do at the center?
It is, and in pre and I hope post-COVID days, we will have more of those sort of activity afternoons or sometimes movie nights where the students can interact with the teachers in a little bit more laid back sense, and just really do some of that practicing and getting to know. And really, as we build relationships with folks, it really helps their trust level, and as well as their feeling that they can ask a question when they're not getting something or not answering, getting an answer that really solves or gives them solution to the issue that they're dealing with at a particular moment.
Perfect. Okay, well, Robin, thank you so much for this beautiful introduction to your center. And
oh man, good to be with you.
Teachers have, and I do appreciate you welcoming this invitation. The Global English Center, or the English Center that Robin has, is one of the best in the country. It is run and
thank you for that,
by mostly native speakers of English from different nationalities, and they focus on the speaking and listening skills and the experiential learning, where students are getting much more engagement and direct contact with native speakers to improve and enrich their communicative skills when it comes to perfecting their language proficiency, to help them over the span of years where they spend in their careers struggling with English. So if you're intending to improve your English, there's highly competitive number or list of centers, but I can name very limited centers, and actually the pioneering one is the one that is run by Robin. He is quite familiar with the administrative and the logistical and the educational aspects of language learning and language teaching. So I totally recommend the center in case you're interested in improving your English for career, for business, for travel, for education, for applying to scholarship, or for getting a standardized test. Thank you, Robin, for this beautiful interview, and I will definitely have another one soon. Once you have more free time to chat a little bit more about your activities at the center. Thank you so much, and stay in touch.
Thank you. All right, good. Thanks. Take care. Thanks, Waleed.
Bye-bye.